I mean, what if the Cabinet Secretary of Transport came out and said that he doesn't believe in seatbelts because how did people know that you would get into an accident? Wouldn't that be shocking? This is a rant. I really wish this was made up, but just watch this clip that follows.
Yeah, as you know, yesterday Pfizer said there's a vaccine, but I really personally, to tell you the truth, I've got my many doubts about it, because we're talking about a disease that stops people from getting the virus. Now, I would like to know how they knew in the first place that I was going to get the virus, so that the vaccine, you're talking about a treatment. When I have a virus and it goes down, I can understand the measure. But when you tell me that I stopped you from getting the virus, how do you know I was going to get the virus in the first place? So for me, I have reservations.
That's the Cabinet Secretary of Health in Kenya. He says he much rather have a therapy that takes away the disease once you have it, as opposed to something that prevents you from getting the disease. And prevents is in quotes because he feels like, how would you know that you'd get the disease so that you need the vaccine? I mean, I have heard things that are not smart, and this actually ranks quite high, especially that it comes from the Cabinet Secretary of Health. Now, the good thing is that he qualifies it by saying that he is not a professional. No, he didn't say that actually. He should have said that he's not a professional in that field, because as the Cabinet Secretary, you have so much influence and people will just take it up, especially now that you're a Cabinet Secretary of Health. He's not a health professional, but he tries to qualify it by saying that it's his personal opinion. That's well and good. On your personal time, you can actually voice whatever you want to voice, but in this case, you are in your suit and tie in your office, speaking in an official capacity. I mean, if it was on the weekend, over the weekend, you are in your retirement home, dressed in your overalls because you're doing your chores, you could actually voice your personal opinion. So I don't want to dwell on the Cabinet Secretary, because this isn't so much about personalities, but I want to bring out tidbits on vaccination so that hopefully anyone who has been misled or anyone who wants to understand more about vaccination can glean as much as they can from this. So immunity is how your body wards off infections once it gets them or prevents itself from getting infections. There are two types of immunity basically. So you have the innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity is what is within you. You don't need to build up on it. Now, a very easy example of innate immunity is your skin. So you walk around encountering pathogens in the dust and everywhere, but they can't really penetrate the skin because the skin is a barrier from you getting infection. So that's a type of innate immunity, something that you have. That's why when your skin becomes denuded, let's say you scratch it, pus easily forms there, and yet it didn't form before it was denuded, because that immunity has been tampered with. So that's the innate type of immunity. The other type of immunity is the acquired immunity. So you can acquire immunity in two general ways. It can either be natural or it can be artificial. So the natural type of acquired immunity is, let's say you fall sick. Once you fall sick, then the body mounts an attack and a defense. The body mounts a defense against that pathogen, and it learns how to fight that pathogen, so that the next time that same pathogen comes to attack you, it will find your body prepared. So this preparation is the acquired immunity that your body has. However, with COVID, we see people who are getting second time infections and even third time infections that are quite more severe than the initial infections. So that means that the immunity that the body acquired during the first time fades away, and it doesn't really protect you for long. I think it says for 4 to 6 months. I'll have to confirm this. The issue with COVID is that the immunity really doesn't last long once you acquire it naturally. So the second type of immunity comes in. That's the secondary man-made artificial immunity, and that's where vaccines come in. So that artificially you're given a vaccine and the body reacts against that vaccine, and that way your body is prepared to fight the illness. So how do vaccines work? Vaccines are actually pathogens or components of pathogens. That means that you take up, like if it's a virus or a bacteria, you take the wall that normally surrounds the bacteria, that's what the body identifies and fights against, and you inject it into an individual. It's not the whole bacteria that has gone in, so that way the body learns how to fight a disease that isn't necessarily a disease, because the virulent bacteria or virus hasn't been introduced into your body. Sometimes they introduce the whole virus or bacteria into your body, so this is live bacteria, but this bacteria has been attenuated in a certain type of way so that it's weaker. The weaker bacteria won't necessarily mount a disease, but your body will be able to recognize it and mount a defense. Now, since COVID's immunity has been shown to dip with time, that's the reason why vaccines have booster doses. Now, these booster doses help to keep the immunity at a level that's acceptable, and that way it will keep the infection away. So that's how vaccines work. It's really good news that companies out there are coming up with vaccines that will really help fight the scourge that is COVID, and it's something that we need to take up. We don't need to be in the public space tearing it down. So that was my rant for today. I mean, what if the Cabinet Secretary of Transport came out and said that he doesn't believe in seatbelts because how did people know that you would get into an accident? Wouldn't that be shocking? So, I mean, that's how we should react to the Cabinet Secretary of Health saying that he doesn't believe in vaccines, because how would someone know that they would fall sick? So that's my piece, and now I have peace. So that's all I had to say about vaccination. It's really a short thing. I didn't go in depth in it because I am not a professional, and also because this is a simple take. However, the mere fact that I'm not a professional is the same reason why we need to trust this vaccination, because the Pfizer and the Sanofis of this world that are driving the vaccination production process, they're being headed by professionals who are being counter-checked and who are doing work in the best environment they can. So if a vaccine comes up, many people will be skeptical, people will voice their opinions, but it is being done by professionals who have our best interests at heart, and it doesn't hurt to take it up. I'm not saying don't ask questions, but also don't be daft while asking these questions.